Hey everyone, Mike Kennedy here, and I'm so excited to have Mr. Brian Wendler here with us.
Thank you.
Today, and we're talking about mergers, acquisitions, business valuations, and the like. And so, part of our one-team concept is this is a great component, and so glad to have you, Brian, with
Thank
us to be a part of this. And very fortunate that we had actually got connected a little bit. You responded to an email, and which I appreciate, and we've had an opportunity to meet a couple of times and visit about different things. And so glad to have you part of the team and with us.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your background and kind of where you're from, Dallas area, obviously. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I reside in Dallas, but I actually am a Midwest boy. I grew up in Edwardsville, Illinois. Went to college out of state. Made it down to Dallas. I attended the University of Dallas. That's where I got my MBA.
Okay.
That was in finance, and went into banking. Joined the banking corps. Went through some big bank training for about 5 years. Became a loan officer with Texas Commerce Bank. So that's dating me quite a while ago.
Yeah.
And when I was in commercial lending, one of my clients was the son of one of the three founders of Waste Management.
Okay.
And so what they were trying to do, he was trying to do financial planning, and he needed somebody to come in, really head up an investment department, looking at all kinds of investments, because what they were trying to do was recycle their wealth from waste management stock into other assets,
right.
Diversifying. So all I did for about 5 years was look at about every type of investment, non-traditional investment, all kinds of real estate, equipment leasing, R&D, oil and gas, you name it. If it was a non-traditional investment, I looked at it for these folks.
Was that kind of an on-the-job training since you were in that position?
Oh, you bet. And then I was studying for the CPA exam, so I achieved my CPA. So I combined that with the investment analysis part, the business valuation part, and I got intrigued with business valuation. And a gentleman that was one of the founders of Epler Turner, John Turner, was on one of my boards, and he taught me some things about business valuation. And that's kind of how I really formally got into it. Started taking classes, and achieved some designations from, like I'm a senior appraiser from the American Society of Appraisers. I am a CPA. I do have the ABV, Advanced Business Valuation designation from the AICPA. I've got the ABAR, Accredited Business Appraiser Review designation from another organization called the Institute of Business Appraisers, which is now part of NAFCA. But one of the things I've also done with that valuation background is I've helped people buy and sell businesses. So I've been doing this for a long time. And another position or role that I play is I'm managing partner of NTA Riverbend, which is a boutique investment banking firm that has really 4 verticals. We have bankruptcy asset restructuring. We have folks that do profit and improvement and growth. We also have folks that head up our debt and equity placement or financings. I am a FINRA principal, so we are aligned with a FINRA broker-dealer. And then we have a merger and acquisition area. So we're covering a lot of ground. So we have a separate valuation firm, but then we also have a boutique investment banking firm.
Right, and several qualified people now underneath you that takes care of all of those different aspects of the business.
You bet. For the business valuation firm and appraisal firm, I've got 5 different CPAs, a couple administrative staff. All we do is crank out reports, look at numbers, and that's typically what CPAs do.
Yeah.
And obviously that helps us over in the investment banking firm, because when they're looking at a potential sell-side engagement, or if they're engaged to find by a buyer to find a business, everything's got to be evaluated, valued, and so it helps out to have that horsepower, those resources.
Yeah. Well, and obviously it's just a needed component, and I don't know that there's, when I happened to get into contact with you, I mean, I had been kind of looking for someone like you for quite a while, and so I don't know. This is really a specialized niche in a certain way, isn't it?
Here's what really differentiates, I think, our team is that being an evaluator, I've actually sold businesses. I've done merger and acquisitions. I really love doing merger and acquisitions. There's not too many evaluators that have my background,
right.
And there's really not too many evaluators that have ever sold a business in their life.
Right.
Sometimes in the valuation arena, I've had to do some litigation support. Well, the evaluator sitting across from me has never sold a business in his life. How much credibility do you think he has at times when you're comparing numbers?
Right. You've actually been through the process. You've done it from A to Z,
You bet.
all the way through, and so you know that. And so that becomes a very valuable part of the whole process.
That's right.
And it really gives the client, a lot more at ease, I guess, through the process to kind of hold their hand through that, because they obviously don't really know, and they're looking for somebody to trust that can really take them through that process.
Sure. We're known throughout the brokerage M&A community. I just rolled off being president of the Texas Association of Business Brokers. I was president for 2 years of the whole state organization. So, as they say, I've been there, done that, and really enjoyed doing what we're doing.
Yeah. We were talking a little bit before too, and I think it's important to realize that a lot of the networking part of that comes from attorneys and CPAs. And tell us a little bit about that experience.
Sure, we do all kinds of valuations, and we've been engaged to help people buy and sell businesses from all walks of life. But on the valuation side, our typical clients are gift and estate tax attorneys. We're on the approved list of some of the largest SBA lenders in the country. And the other thing is, I've trained over 4,000 or 5,000 business intermediaries, brokers over the years. So I trained those folks on how to make money. And they're a resource in their communities when they run into a business owner or a practice owner that is thinking about retiring, exiting, maybe bringing in a partner, maybe wants to gift some shares to children, or someone dies, you need a estate valuation. They're a resource to bring that type of business to us, and we help them participate in that.
And so kind of going back to your roots too, when you were more the investment banker and the financial services guy, you've had that background, but that's another component that kind of lines up with the part of the transaction, completing that.
Well, it certainly does. The valuation is typically the first step in taking a sell side mandate. And so then the process is really in depth, where you create a teaser, you create a confidential memorandum. Obviously that's confidential. You learn where to look for buyers, where to search for buyers. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle that you've got to coordinate. We need legal, we need tax, sometimes we need insurance, we need lenders, financing sources. So there's a lot of pieces to manage in that sell side mandate in that process.
Yeah. Well, and you've got an extensive team that works with you in different areas, and you've primarily been in the Dallas area. You're in Oklahoma here, and we're kind of extending our base here in Oklahoma. So I think this is a good fit, and for you to kind of extend up here as well.
We think it is, and we've done valuations in all 50 states. So many of these brokers we've trained, they came from all parts of the country.
Right.
So whether it's a business located out in Hawaii or a restaurant along the Florida Keys, we've done that. And it's an exciting time because there's a lot of baby boomers who have they've survived the Great Recession, they've rebounded, they've been making money, but now they're really thinking seriously about retiring. So now's the time that they need expert advisors to come in and give them advice on value, what the sell side process is like, good tax advice, good legal advice. It's a great time to be in the business.
And we were talking a little bit about this before, about the size of businesses that you typically would look at. Tell us a little bit about that, kind of what your sweet spot is there, and for somebody that we may have as a member or partner that would really fit into what you're looking for, the type of transaction that you're looking for.
On the valuation side, if you can imagine these many brokers that are out there, they have come in contact with all sizes and shapes of businesses. We may value a business we've done valuations for as low as $150,000. If a client needs help, because most owners don't know really what their business is worth, we think we ought to do something for them. And we have reports that are tailored for smaller businesses. On the flip side, we've done valuations for $750 million, which have been part of venture capital or private equity funds, and they need those type of businesses valued as well. The typical average is probably anywhere from $1 million to $20 million, and that's for the valuation side. On the transaction side, probably the most important item we look for is to have a motivated seller, seller that's reasonable. There's a reason why they want to sell. Their advisor team has helped them through that decision process, and now it's time to execute. And so we're really good at executing that. And we say our sweet spot's probably from 5 million, I'd say 75 to $100 million. We can certainly handle that. We're a FINRA licensed securities firm, so we can do stock transactions. We're fully compliant. And so that kind of puts us a little bit above the typical 1 or 2 man business broker shop that's out there.
When is the right time to engage your services in the process? So you've got somebody that, I mean, and maybe a business owner hasn't had an exit strategy per se. When is the right time to do that through the process? I mean, is it at the time I need to get out? I mean, you've got typically 2 or 3 months, or is it the earlier the better?
Well, the earlier the better. Ideally, you'll find different writers or commentators saying 3 to 5 years. You know, the reality is most business owners wait till about the last minute, or there's a life-changing event, and then they basically have to do some planning. We always say, get us in as early as possible. You need to know kind of where your business value is. If you're thinking, plus you need to bring in a financial planner to look at all your assets and to figure out, well, what kind of money are you going to have available and how long will it last? And if you're thinking that you may need $5 million in a nest egg and you think your business is going to contribute to that or is going to fund that, and we come in and tell you that the business is really only worth 2.5, well then we've got to create a plan to show you how to grow it. And again, we've got profit improvement, growth type professionals that can help with that, but you're going to need help to bridge that gap. That gap, that's what that's called, that gap. And very few sellers look and see if they've got a gap there. If they've got a gap, they've got to figure out how to achieve that.
Yeah. You guys can come up with a strategic plan to get them there.
That's right.
Yeah.
All too often, though, the founder, owner of the family business either gets sick or something happens, and then it's almost too late.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got to make sure
they don't really have many options at that particular point. They've got to, sell to pay the taxes or doing whatever too.
Yes, and what they've also got to do is, well, part of the planning process is making sure their books and records are in good order.
Right.
And good order for a buyer's due diligence. And see, most sellers will never take the time to really analyze that. So there's a lot of planning.
Yeah. And do you work with the local CPA? So a small business that typically has a local CPA or somebody that they're used to working, do you engage with them or their local attorney, or how does that fit together?
Our best referrals are CPAs, attorneys who've come to know us. And so if they've got a client that is thinking about selling, the first step is, okay, what's the value? Right. What's a reasonable expectation? So our typical referral sources are lenders, CPAs, attorneys, insurance folks.
Yep.
We've done some lost profits analysis for businesses that have been damaged. So it's across the board.
Yeah, very good. Well, we are certainly excited to have you and your team as part of our team and working together with this.
Well, we're excited too.
I think it's a great component, a great fit for this, and we're looking for exciting things to happen. So if you need additional information, we're going to put the information up on the screen here for you to get in contact with one of our team members so we can hook you up with Mr. Wendler and his team as well. And we're looking for a great future together.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you again, Brian. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.